Post from an ex-employee or from a former client, maybe an outdated news article or sensitive personal information about your family. Search engines don't always get it right, but right or wrong, it's your reputation on the line. That's where Reputation Defender by Norton comes in. One of the most trusted names in online reputation repair, Reputation Defender has been fixing people's search results for over 15 years. Their cutting-edge approaches help you to wipe away unwanted information in your search results. They also promote the good stuff so that it rises to the top, helping you put your best foot forward. Your good name is too valuable to leave to the whims of a Google algorithm. Take control with Reputation Defender. You can start by getting your free reputation report card at reputationdefender.com or call 800-401-6681 to speak to an expert. That's 800-401-6681.
Hi, this is Kevin Pfeiffer with Pfeiffer's Auction Company. Pfeiffer's upcoming October auctions include 320 acres of cropland in Clay and Wilton counties, 750 acres of crop and pasture land in Rolette County, 1,500 acres in Bottineau County, 1,000 acres in Ward and McHenry counties, and thousands of acres of crop, pasture, and hunting land in Slope, Golden Valley, Billings, Stark, Bowman, and Hedegar counties in North Dakota at Pfeiffer's annual Western North Dakota Land Auction event. View all land and equipment auctions at Pfeiffers.com.
This is Weather and Ag in Focus with Bridgette Readel, Justin Storm, and Dean Wysocki.
Oh, my God! And welcome to Weather and Ag in Focus. I want to thank you for joining us this afternoon. Bridgette has the day off. She's traveling somewhere. So, obviously, there's probably going to be some bad weather. Justin Storm is back with us in the fold today after taking yesterday off. How's everything going there, Justin?
It's going about as good as a project car can go.
you need to get a new vehicle, buddy. I've got a guy that knows a guy that knows a guy that could probably, you know, who could set you up?
Who's that?
John, one of our listeners. He has his hands into everything, whether it's snow blowers, lawnmowers, cars. I'm sure he can set you up.
He's got a Wagmobile, I'm sure, somewhere on standby.
I'm sure he probably could set you up with something there.
Yeah, it's been a fun last handful of hours.
I bet.
I took yesterday off to work on the vehicle just to find out there were more things wrong with it. So that's always good.
Well, you know what they say, cars and, well, we'll just leave it at that. It's going to cause you trouble down the road. So, temperatures outside.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I know. Temperatures outside right now, 63 degrees. And we've got some clearing skies looking out to the west, or at least partially clearing. We had quite a bit of cloud cover through most of the morning. That cloud cover is pushing into lakes country. We'll see a little break for more sunshine, and then clouds will thicken back up. It is a lot breezier than yesterday. We've got southeast winds at 15, gusting over 20. And we're going to see those clouds thicken up after reaching a high in the mid to upper 60s today. And then we'll see some rain coming in after dark. That rain will continue overnight and into tomorrow. Kind of a blustery day on Wednesday with highs in the 50s and a pretty good northwest wind at 10 to 20. And then the rest of the week after that looking pretty decent. So some pretty nice fall weather. And again, the LRC cycle has started. That started the first week of October, and it's been a pretty dry start to the LRC cycle. So, this would be storm number 2 that affects our area. Storm number 1 last week went south of us. This is a little clipper system coming in from Canada. So that'll be one of the storms on the LRC cycle. And then we'll see what happens next week. We're getting signs of another storm next week, but that may, kind of like the last one, go south. So it's been a dry start to the LRC cycle. Temperatures have been, for the most part, above normal. So that's promising if you don't want a lot of snow. But again, there's plenty of time for things to change. So we'll definitely be keeping an eye on that. I know you want some nice mild weather this winter. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, mild. As long as it's not frigid. I don't want the 30 below, but if we can get a good amount of snow, I'd be happy.
Right. And we've got
snowmobiling.
Yep, I'd love to get some snow to go sledding, ice fishing, cold weather. We got John on line one, and I know this isn't car talk or anything like that. I think this is Weather and Ag in Focus, but John's got some helpful advice for you there, Justin. John, thanks for calling in. Let's hear what you got to say.
Hey, Justin, you get your Sawzall out, and you just cut a hole.
I
in the
almost
floorboard.
did.
You make a Flintstone mobile out of it. That's the consensus.
You can't see, but I was this close to ripping it out about an hour and a half ago to cut the ball joint off of the control arm because it was just spinning trying to take it off. It's having a heck of a time.
Yeah. Actually, it works really good. Sometimes is you take a good sized punch and a hammer and just punch the sheet metal on the outside of the A-arm just enough that maybe it puts a little tension on that ball joint so it quits spinning. Sometimes. Not always.
Oh, man. Yeah, I had to take the vice grips out, and somehow I was able to get it.
Yeah, I was going to say that's the alternative, the Wonder Wrench. Made in Nebraska. Did you know that? The vice grip was invented in Nebraska, in the heart of farm country, don't you know?
See?
There you go, Dean. Another +1 for Nebraska.
Another +1 for Nebraska. John, you know what today is? It is Chemtrail Tuesday. And
yesterday was Chemtrail Monday. Holy buckets there, Batman.
They were all over yesterday. I don't see any today, although we've got some high clouds, so it's hard to tell.
Give it a little bit.
You better look to the south. My count is up to 5, so I'm between yesterday and today, rain is definitely coming.
There you go. See?
Plus the fact that Bridgette is somewhere, so, if anything, she's kind of like a rain cloud magnet, so.
Or snow. That's for sure.
She had planned to go down to South Dakota last week just to drive right into that last storm that ripped through there.
I was going to say, I envision her as doing something like the movie Twister and hiding in the shed full of saw blades.
Oh, John.
Dean, you know what I'm thinking?
What?
I'm thinking we need to just, instead of doing an LRC calendar this winter, let's just ask Bridgette for every date she's traveling, and we'll just see how accurate that is.
That's probably about as accurate. No doubt about it.
I was going to say, we can combine that with the chemtrail count, and I'm sure, if you put Gary on this, if we compile enough data, we probably could come up with our own Aztec calendar of some sort.
See, there we go. We'll talk to Gary about that and see if he's on board. John, thanks for calling. We appreciate you listening, and thanks for the sound advice he's giving you on your car too, Justin.
It's just blow a hole through the
floorboard,
metal.
Right? Just make it a Flintstone mobile.
I know this is weather and ag, and we can kind of tie this into agriculture, but if you want to call in and share a repair gone wrong, either on a vehicle or farm equipment, feel free to do so. 701-293-9000. Dean, I don't know if you have much repairs gone wrong. Have you do repair on your vehicle, or you just bring it in?
I am a total idiot when it comes to vehicle repair. I will fully admit that, and I will leave that to Dave's Tire in West Fargo. If I have any problems, I always bring it out to him. Nope.
There you go.
Nope. I know what I can and can't do. That's the one. If it's minor stuff, no problem. But if it's anything, no.
Yeah, so I took off the rear end of the vehicle because I had to replace the rear struts, because the tires were all scalloped. They were all unevenly worn, so it was just totally jacked. Took it out, the old shocks. You push them in with one finger, and they don't even come back up. So that was a great start. Moved on to the front end, just to realize that the tie rod arm was shot, and the ball joint, and that was causing the inside of my tire to completely get eaten away. But I didn't have the part for that because I didn't know it was broken. So I get in there yesterday, and I'm replacing the strut, and I'm like, oh man, I touched the wheel and all I hear is clunk, 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 clunk. The tie rod just hitting the wheel. I'm like, come on.
That's not a good thing.
It's so annoying. I'll tell you that, working on cars.
Well, cars, farm equipment, you name it. I mean,
I'm sure there's some pretty good farm equipment stories out there.
I could only imagine.
Go in to do something minor and you're like, oh, glad I came in here to do that.
Right. Oh, man. Well, let's take a quick look at the forecast as, again, we've got some pretty decent fall weather that's basically been over the area for the last, week and a half. We've had above normal temperatures to start off the LRC cycle, and I don't see it really changing till possibly the end of the month and into the first week of November. So we'll wait and see how that unfolds. But for the rest of today, we're looking at partly cloudy to partly sunny skies, and then we'll see clouds sticking up towards evening. Highs today in the mid to upper 60s with a south wind at 10 to 20. Showers overspread the area tonight. Lows in the upper 40s, and then a few hit-and-miss showers on Wednesday. Breezy out of the northwest. Highs in the mid to upper 50s. About a quarter inch expected. Some spots might pick up a little more, some spots a little less, but about a quarter inch on average. And then Thursday and Friday, the sun return. Right around 60 on Thursday, mid to upper 60s on Friday. It'll be a little on the breezy side on Friday. And then Saturday and Sunday, I'd say the pick day of the weekend, probably Saturday, as we'll see more clouds on Sunday. Highs both days, right around 60, and maybe the upper 50s on Sunday, depending on the cloud cover. And then could see a storm system head our way as we head towards Tuesday and Wednesday of next week, maybe starting as early as Monday. Timing on that still a little in question, and that may pass to our south as well. But it's been a pretty quiet, as we said earlier, it's been a pretty quiet start to the LRC cycle with storms mainly passing to our south. So we'll see how that unfolds, and as we continue to dive into the LRC cycle. And our special guest today, and we've had Angie on here numerous times. She's a great guest. Angie Johnson from NDSU Farm and Ranch Safety. She's a specialist over there, and we'll be talking with Angie. If you have any questions for Angie, feel free to give us a call on our Red Wing Shoes hotline, 701-293-9000. Again, that's 701-293-9000. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Livestock is mixed. Hogs are down. For the American Ag Network, I'm Richard Risvet with this market update. Firm gains seen in nearby live cattle trade has helped calm some of the early week jitters, which put pressure on price levels yesterday. The focus on moving December contracts above the 187 per hundredweight price level has helped to add even more support to the entire complex. The spot December contract has moved back above the 40-day moving average, although there is some uncertainty as to just how much additional buyer support may develop through the upcoming weeks, and that's especially with questions surrounding further gains in cash cattle trade. Cash cattle trade remains quiet today, with asking prices and bids still hard to pin down. It is likely to be the middle of the week or later before active cash market activity develops. Box beef prices are higher, choice up 47 and select up 74 with a movement of 92 loads. And as for the hogs, firm pressure has redeveloped in the lean hog futures trade today. Continued commercial selling pressure is testing May lows, and the spot month December contract, a move below this price level, will indicate new contract lows and create additional spillover selling concerns through the entire complex. Despite the focus on pork values and potential support in the cash hog market, there is growing concerns that nearby contracts will continue to build downward momentum, with December contract testing contract lows set in May, while February prices have already broken through the support levels over the last two sessions. We'll get a look at the livestock numbers. You're listening to the American Ag Network.
Challenge. It's not something you shy from. It's a chance to up your game. Every day brings a new challenge, but with the enhanced Channel Seed brand on your side, you can rise to it. With our top-performing seed, innovative digital tools, and expanded agronomic support, you can turn tomorrow's challenges into your next advantage. Your enhanced Channel Seed brand. Let's rise to the challenge. Learn more at channel.com/rise. Read and follow pesticide label directions, IRM, grain marketing, and other stewardship practices.
At Bayer, we think farmers have made enough trade-offs. That's why we created VT4 Pro with RNAi technology, so you don't have to choose between yield potential or our widest spectrum of insect protection. You get both. And you're even protected against notorious pests like corn earworm and corn rootworm. Visit VT4Pro.com to trade up without the trade-offs. Read and follow pesticide label directions, IRM, grain marketing, and other stewardship practices. Copyright 2023 Bayer Group, all rights reserved.
Let's get a look at the livestock numbers. Live cattle October up 60 at 185.80, December up 60 at 187.15, February up 50 at 191.15, and the April live cattle, they're up 52 at 194.02. Feeders October down 20 at 248.12, November up 55 at 250.47. Lean hogs December down 80 at 67.50, February down 105 at 72.02, and the April lean hogs, they're down 92 at 79.02. With crude oil trading down about 30 cents at just over $86 a barrel. For the American Ag Network, I'm Richard Ristvet.
This is Weather and Ag in Focus with Bridgette Readel, Justin Storm, and Dean Wysocki.
And welcome back to Weather and Ag in Focus. Thanks for rejoining us. It is 1:19 on this Tuesday afternoon. We're going to bring in our guests now, and if you want to join in on this conversation or ask any questions or tell a story, feel free to do so at any time. Give us a call on the Red Wing Shoes phone line. That's 701-293-9000, or you can always reach us via email, weatherorag@flagfamily.com. And our guest today is Angie Johnson. We've had Angie on several times, and she's a great guest, and we love having Angie on. So, Angie, welcome back to the program. Thanks for joining us again.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I'm glad you like having me on as well. I appreciate it.
Well, for those who don't know Angie, she's with NDSU Farm and Safety. She's a specialist, so that's what we're going to be talking about today because, well, not that it's not important throughout the entire year, but we're kind of in a crunch time right now when it comes to harvest and everyone trying to get everything done. And when you're trying to get things done in a relatively short amount of time, you sometimes don't think to do something or overlook doing something that could potentially save your life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Dean, did you want to go right off the bat?
Yeah, well, I was going to ask Angie with harvest season underway, and if like Justin said, you're busy, you're not always thinking, and it's not, it's just
lack of sleep.
That's lack of sleep. That's just how it is. How have things looked so far this season, Angie, in terms of accidents or whatnot?
Yeah, that's a really it's a good topic to bring up, and because today I really want to highlight some of our focus on combine fires. That's been a problem here in the Red River Valley and in western North Dakota as well. But in terms of incidences out there, just kind of keeping an eye on some media things. You hit the nail on the head right away with this whole issue of sleep. I do know there was an incident that took place regarding falling asleep at the wheel in hauling sugar beets or potatoes. And so can't stress enough that guess what? That is 100% preventable. And you know how to prevent that? Get some sleep. So making sure that we work with our employees and getting them, I know this is a tough time. I know it's hard when you got the R word coming, if there's rain coming and you want to get that crop off. But if your people aren't getting enough sleep, that's when some pretty serious, if not deadly incidences can take place that are preventable.
And Angie, you had mentioned right there, from the media, how many of these aren't reported? How many of these accidents, whatever it is, aren't reported? And is that typical that they're not reported?
Yeah, that's why I love working with you guys to get really at the heart of the issue when it comes to understanding what's happening, because you are correct. There is no reporting mechanism, and so we rely a lot on the media to really highlight and showcase what is happening out there. And so, it's estimated between 80 and 90% of ag-related incidences, so injuries or fatalities, go unreported.
Wow.
In general. And so think about that. There's a lot going on that we just don't know about. And so it's really important. This position that I'm in, we're actually looking at doing some research, surveying and looking at some hospital data, some of our trauma center data on what types of ag-related injuries and fatalities are actually happening in the upper Midwest, because we just don't have a good surveillance system to help us understand what's happening so we can create prevention-based programs that fit those needs the best to their ability.
And why is that? I mean, other industries have OSHA and stuff like that. How come the agriculture industry does not?
Yeah, and I mean, you said the dirty word OSHA, right?
Right.
A lot of folks listening, they're gonna wrinkle their nose
Oh
at us,
yeah.
but that's okay. We need to talk about it. So, agriculture, for the most part, is exempt from OSHA, so the Occupational Health and Occupational Safety and Health Administration, and so most industries have to follow OSHA standards. Agriculture is exempt in many of them, which includes reporting, right? So
Hmm.
if you are your own operator or a family farm, so it's you and just your family, or you and one hired employee, you are exempt from the OSHA standard that states or asks you to report injuries that take place. But if you have 11 or more employees on your farm operation, the game changes, because now that's when those requirements really kick in, because you're looked at more of a commercial level versus the typical family farm designation, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
I got a question for you here. Do you think that there are farms groups out there that look at that statistic that you just mentioned, that 11 or more or less than 11 farm hands? Do you think that there are people that stay under that level so they don't have to worry about doing the extra things?
Oh boy. Yeah, you're getting into the weeds on that one. I just think, it's hard enough to get employees and farm laborers as it is, and so you really have to be an operation that, you need people. You need all hands on deck. So things I think of right away are those very niche industries, such as sugar beets, such as potatoes. You need a lot of bodies. You need truck drivers. You need equipment operators, because it's shift work. You're going all night, all day. So I don't necessarily think it's because folks are wanting to evade that. I just really think that we're at a level where some of our operations, it just depends how much they're farming. So if they
Hmm.
require that much, but labor help, then yeah, they're going to do what it takes to get that. But I don't think it's because people are trying to evade that. I just think it's based on
Okay.
need. How much worker help do you need?
All right. Well, then let's switch over to one of the things that we want to focus on today, and that's combine fires. How often are these occurring, and why are these combining or combines just starting on fire? How do you prevent that or lessen the chance of that happening?
Yeah, no, thank you. I mean, you've got three questions all in one there. So I'll start with, I'm gonna hit that same. You talked about what's actually happening. Well, guess what? This is another scenario where it's not required to report combine fires or equipment fires, for that matter. So it's really hard to capture what's going on unless, again, it makes the news, or luckily, I have really good relationships with fire chiefs that like to fill us in. The Forest Service, I also work closely with them because they try to keep track of fires that take place as well, in terms of what caused them. And so it's really come to my attention simply because a lot of those individuals have reached out, and the one fire department here in the valley said, Angie, we've had 4 combine fires in less than 2 weeks. And it doesn't matter what color that combine was. And
Hmm.
that's, in my eyes, and in that chief's eyes, it's early in the season. We haven't really dug deep into sunflower harvest yet, so that concerns me. If we're already seeing that high volume of fires, and out in western North Dakota, they're seeing combine fires too, and so that's kind of just giving you the scope and breadth of, it really matters. If you hear of those things, talk to your extension agent, let them know, because that helps us really get awareness, and then how do we prevent these from taking place in the first place.
And Angie, obviously, some of these combine fires are due to the dry weather. I mean, we've had some pretty dry weather, but is there anything else that can cause these where our farmers can easily prevent it?
Yeah, and so it's in combination with dry weather, low humidity, high wind, right? The definition of North Dakota. And so you've got all of those factors, plus the amount of combustible material that ends up going through the combine. You think about, if you've got a 40-foot header, think about all of the soybeans that are just being chugged in all at one time, all that plant material, the pods, the stems, the dead leaf tissue, all of that goes through the combine 40 feet at a time, and it produces a crazy amount of dust, and all of that dust is combustible material. And so if that dust, especially on a windy day, gets blown back in onto the manifold or the engine compartment of that machine, you have two things. The recipe for fire: you have a very hot manifold, engine manifold or exhaust system, in combination with very dry material that can ignite quickly. And over time, if you don't take time to blow it, use an air compressor and blow it off, or a leaf blower and blow that material off, it just keeps accumulating and accumulating. And pretty soon, if it gets hot enough, it has the high probability of igniting and starting a fire.
So how often do you think that would need to be done? I mean, obviously this can just freakishly happen, but do you think there's like you change your oil every 5,000 miles? Is there a, blow off the manifold or check what things are looking like after so many hours or production?
Yeah, I mean, you can even look at it from how many acres. Every 30 to 40 acres, take time to check things over. At some point, you need a bathroom break, right? So step down safely and just take some time to, or when you're waiting for that semi to show up or waiting for the grain cart, just take a few minutes, check things over, and just be watchful, because there are so many moving pieces that it doesn't take much for a fire to start. If you have a bearing go bad, that busted bearing can generate and create a spark, which then can ignite all of that flammable material. And so taking some time to just protect that investment. My goodness, these combines are worth $500,000 to $1 million. Protect that investment just by keeping an eye on it and trying your best to keep it clean. I'm not saying it needs to shine and be squeaky clean every time, but by just blowing some of that chaff and dirt and debris off, you could prevent a major disaster from happening.
Right. And I know we got to hit bottom of the hour break, but I was wondering if I could just get one more quick question in with you, Angie, before we head down to hear local news. Can this happen with any crop that you're combining? And if it is, which ones are the more probable or that are linked more to fires? I know that sunflowers are a really big deal, but is there anything else that has a higher probability just due to how it comes out of the combine?
Oh, that's such a fantastic question, and any crop is susceptible. Let's get that rumor out of the way. Any crop is susceptible in getting a combine fire to get started. But you said sunflowers, and that's one where we've had big issues here in the Dakotas is sunflowers, because the pith, that inner center part of the stalk on the sunflower, when that goes through the combine, it becomes so small and just dust that sometimes you can't even see with the naked eye, and that accumulates really quickly and easily on the machine and the engine manifold. And so sunflowers, I would say, are our biggest problem, but we're seeing it, especially right now with soybean harvest. It's been a really big problem, but weather conditions have really been perfect for creating that recipe for fire.
I see. Well, thanks, Angie. We're going to hit bottom of the hour real quick. We're going to catch up with local news and national news. But when we come back, we'll continue this conversation on farm safety with Angie. And if you want to join in, tell a story, ask a question, feel free to do so. Again, that Red Wing Shoes phone line is 701-293-9000 or email weather@flagfamily.com. Stay tuned because we'll be right back.
They'll have you laughing right along with them. They're Bonnie and Friends.
That's called the cleanup bowl, is when he comes in after the fact. That's if not everybody got pregnant and you have some open cows.
He knows how to get her done.
That's right.
Some open cows. Yes, I'm single right now. I'm looking for a bowl.
That's roughly how it's going to go.
That's what I thought.
Bang a gong and get it on.
Don't...
Or a cow.
I should have really spent more time in veterinary science.
Bonnie and Friends. Catch them weekday mornings beginning at 5.
Think pink and help make a difference, because during Pucklich and Valley City's Why Pink event, we're donating $100 for every vehicle sold and $10 for every service repair order. Help us reach our goal of $10,000 donated to the JRMC Cancer Center and the Sanford Roger Maris Cancer Center. So think pink and help make a difference as we raise $10,000 donated to the JRMC Cancer Center and Sanford Roger Maris Cancer Center during our Why Pink event at Pucklich Chevrolet GMC in Valley City.
Good afternoon, I'm Tom Tucker, WDAY News First. Fargo city leaders are hoping to establish a task force to address the city's growing problem with homelessness. Data shows 1,000 people are experiencing homelessness in the metro area on any given night. Homeless people can often be seen sleeping in downtown Fargo, including outside the Civic Center and City Hall. The U.S. Supreme Court has decided not to hear an appeal of a case challenging Minnesota's new vehicle emission standards. The standards were adopted in 2021 and were challenged in court by the Minnesota Automobile Dealers Association. The organization says the tougher emission standards will force dealers to carry more electric cars than consumers want and will drive up prices. Minnesota's projected budget surplus is getting bigger. State budget officials have announced that tax and fee collections have outpaced expectations, while spending has been lower than projected. That's added about $820 million to the forecast surplus of $1.6 billion. And a funeral was held Monday for former North Dakota Lieutenant Governor Rosemarie Myrtle. She was Lieutenant Governor to former Governor Ed Schaefer, who served from 1992 to 2000. The service was held at Pioneer Lutheran Church in the small Pembina County community of Gardar. Tom Tucker, WDAY, and WDAYRadioNow.com.
Attention all growers and ag retailers. Tired of losing the war against wild oats? It's time to bring in the big guns. Avadex and Fargo herbicides from Gowan, USA. These Group 15 herbicides are your ticket to controlling Group 1 and Group 2 resistant wild oats and suppressing brome and ryegrass. Don't let these weeds invade your field. Take charge. Contact your local ag retailer today and get your hands on Avadex and Fargo. Go. Always read and follow label directions from Gowan, USA.
Creative Planning presents Rethink Your Money with John Hagenson, Saturday morning at 6. Get the most up-to-date financial advice and the freshest thinking on investments, tax strategies, estate planning, and more. You'll learn how our team-based approach at Creative Planning helps ensure all aspects of your wealth are working harder together. Don't settle for anything less than a customized and comprehensive financial plan and portfolio. Give your wealth a second look by going to creativeplanning.com/radio.
Hi, Teresa here from the Fargo Red Wing Shoe Store. Get ready to strut your stuff confidently, like a duck in a downpour, through rain-soaked streets and muddy fields. Come see us and make a splash in a new pair of Red Wing boots. No more soggy socks or chilly toes. Our boots are built tough to keep you warm and dry. Why settle for anything less? Step into style and weatherproof your feet with a new pair of Red Wing boots. Red Wing shoes for ultimate durability. Quack.
Weather and Ag in Focus on WDAY Radio.
And welcome back to Weather and Ag in Focus. Thanks for rejoining us. It is 1:37. We got to check on the forecast coming in our next segment. But we're rejoining our conversation with Angie Johnson, Farm and Safety Specialist over at NDSU. And if you want to join in, ask a question or a story, or if you want to bring something up that we haven't talked about yet when it comes to safety, and I'm thinking maybe this is an opportunity for farmers to be able to reach out to general public on things that they've been seeing that just shouldn't be happening, feel free to do so. 701-293-9000. We can talk about that and everything else. And I want to talk, Angie, about vehicles on the road and farmers coming in and out of fields and all of that. But before we get to that topic, let's touch on grass fires. What do we need to know about grass fires during harvest as well? Because that's a real possibility as well. Not just the combine fires, but those fires can spread to other areas because tall grasses are dying off and drying out. And there's fields that are just sitting there with a bunch of firewood basically ready to start up with the right fuel.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad you brought this up too. So this really boils down to strategically parking your vehicle. So for example, if you've got your service pickup, your service truck, your semis, whatever that may look like, even if it's somebody coming to pick you up at the end of the day, be strategic on where you put those vehicles. As you mentioned, there's a lot of dry material, dry biomass that's sitting in our ditches, or even if you're next to a CRP field, there's just a lot of product there that can easily catch fire. And so strategically park those vehicles. Don't put them in the ditch if you've got a full, a ditch that hasn't been mowed down yet, where you don't have lush green grass, because it doesn't take much. Our exhaust systems are really hot on those vehicles. And so even though you park it there and walk away, it's not like a fire is going to instantly start. It may take a few minutes if it's hot enough and touching that dead grass, touching that exhaust system. So be smart where you park those vehicles.
I'm glad you brought that up because I know someone personally. I've seen a video, and I'll share that video here in a moment. I'll explain it. But I think a lot of people don't realize that underneath your car is extremely hot, especially if you've been driving it for a while. I mean, off the manifold, your engine, the exhaust pipe, it can at times get red hot where things turn on fire instantly. I had a buddy who was driving through a field and he set the whole ditch on fire because he didn't have a heat shield on his exhaust, and the whole thing caught on fire. And then the video I was watching was a guy who had bought a brand new Ferrari and he was driving it through an old field that had a bunch of dead grass, and he sat it there parking, they're taking videos. Next thing you know, this $200,000 car is completely on fire and the rest of the field was toast. But I mean, it's crazy how just something little like that, parking your car on top of dead tall grass, can start a fire this time of year.
Yeah, and it's going to spread. I mean, if you still have standing crop, it's going to spread to that crop as well. And you bring up a point too. Don't park your equipment in the shed when it's hot. Let that stuff cool down, because if you park it in your shed, your Quonset for the night, and it's still hot from the day's work, you could set your shed or Quonset, your storage facility, on fire. That has happened as well. So let that equipment cool down before you even park it indoors for the night.
Right. Well, why don't we switch on over to safety on the road? And this isn't just for the farming people, the agriculture, the big equipment, the truckers, but this comes down to Dean, me, you driving down the highway right now. What are things that we should know and take our time when it comes to the harvest season, with trucks coming in out of fields, combines driving down the field with the headers to get to their next field? What are things we should know, Angie?
Absolutely. Be a defensive driver and never ever assume. I think that's so critical. And also be willing to be patient and slow down. One of my biggest fears is when you're pulling up behind a tractor or a combine. Remember, they can't always see you directly behind them. And so don't just assume that it's safe to pass, especially if you're coming up on a hill. Give that equipment operator some time so that they can see you. Producers will pull over, and it's law, they have to stay in their lane anyway, but producers will even pull over more to let you safely pass. And so be cognizant and be aware, and give yourself enough distance. Don't directly ride behind that equipment or that machinery, because again, they can't see you right there. So make sure you make really good choices and look for field approaches. We have to remember, these tractors and combines or whatever equipment, they're not just driving to the next intersection like you are. They might be making a quick left turn or a right turn into that field's approach to start harvesting that field. And so look around you, be aware. One of the things I always do when I approach farm equipment is, okay, where's the next field entrance? Because that might be the field that producer is looking to turn into. So wait to pass until you get past that field approach.
Yeah, and
I think.
Go ahead, Justin.
I was going to say, I think we've heard enough of these stories where people go to pass a slow-moving beat truck or a tractor, and they pass them on the left, and then the tractor or the truck turns left, and they end up just T-boning right into them.
Well, and even Farmer Jim said he had a car try and go under the combine. I'm like, wow.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, just
underneath the header.
Underneath the header. That's just
Insane.
that's nuts.
You'll never win. You'll never win.
No, that big equipment is going to beat your small equipment every time.
Yep.
Every time. Angie, I know this sounds kind of obvious, but with these combine fires, obviously you're going to want to carry a fire extinguisher in the cab with you. Does that take care of, I mean, as long as you catch it in time, does that take care of things typically?
Oh, great question. And unfortunately, the answer is it depends. A lot of times, I always recommend, most combines will already have two 20-pound ABC fire extinguishers. So ABC just means the different types of fire types that they can put out. And so ABC, electrical fire, oil, fluid fire, etc., and then combustible materials. And so they cover the whole gamut. Have a 20-pound one in the cab, and also oftentimes they're on the outside steps of that machine, so you can access it at ground level. But one of the problems is it just depends how big that fire has already grown, how much flammable material is there to help that fire grow. And on these combines, when you open up these shields, you're now exposing a ton more oxygen and air into that. You're allowing more air to get into that fire, which could cause it to flash and grow even bigger. So it depends. If it is something small that you can take care of quickly, it can work. But if it's a recipe where this thing is going to escalate quickly, really dialing 911 right away so you can get the professional help there immediately to try and salvage that machine. The earlier they get there, the better. And they would rather you call them and come out there, even if it's a small fire, than waiting until it's too late.
And what would you say? I mean, it's common sense, it seems like, but are there multiple combines that they don't have any forms of fire extinguisher on board, or do most of them have that? And you would think that would be mandatory, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I'm going to say most combines coming off the line today, there's those two extinguishers already on them. The key is, though, what gets folks in trouble is, are they full? Are they full? Are they pressurized? And how do you know how to use it? And if you have farm labor on your operation or family, do they know how to use it? So just don't assume just because the red can is there, I'm set to go.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure it's fully pressurized and that needle's in the green, because otherwise you're going to be out of luck when you really need to use it. And if it's empty or just so old that it's not operable anymore.
I got one for you, and I don't know if this is a dumb question or not, but are there combines that have any defensive measures pre-built into them, or a group maybe looking into trying to do this, that if a combine fire does occur, that the combine does something to put the fire out on its own? And I'm going to reference an ANSOL system in a kitchen. If there's a kitchen fire and these little sensors above all the equipment, if they get too hot or something in there gets too hot, it melts or breaks, it pumps the whole kitchen full with foam up to your head. And it's really not even that big of a canister that holds it. It's like the size of a backpack that holds all this pressurized foam in it. But I'm just wondering if there's anything like that, or if there's a group that's looking into something like this to kind of combat the potential for combine fires.
Sure. First off, there's never a dumb question, so don't ever hesitate to ask. and I think that's a great question. And to be honest, if there's any listeners out there that do know of a system like that within their machine, I would love to hear from you, because right now, I personally don't know of that type of technology in our machines other than the traditional, like, hey, your engine is overheating. There's something mechanically wrong. And what could cause that? That could be a buildup of debris, not allowing you to get enough air through. So currently, I don't know of any system that's built in like you described, but that doesn't mean it's not there.
Justin, there's your side hustle.
I was just
There
going to
you
say,
go.
Dean, we got to go talk to Mr. Wonderful down the hall and tell him that it's a $1 billion idea.
Oh,
We're
man.
going to put Ansel systems in every combine across the U.S.
With that being said, how much money is lost, Angie, when it comes to combine fires? I mean, these are $1 million pieces of equipment. I know that's that might be a tough question to answer, but do you have any clue, like just roughly how much money is lost annually due to combine fires?
Oh boy, we don't have that. I don't have any annual data on how many, it would be in the millions, right? And the biggest thing is I would hope our growers have these machines insured, right? So that way when this takes place, they're able to, find something. The problem is finding it quickly enough during this time of year to get back out there and continue harvest. But some guys may not have insurance, but easily these combines of today, you're talking close to $1 million, if not more, in just that investment. And once some combines are salvageable, but man, if it's an engine, good luck. It's really hard to get replacement parts, entire engines rebuilt. It's not a fun challenge to take on. So a little bit of prevention in the long run could save you thousands, if not millions.
Right.
Right. That's absolutely crazy. Angie, I want to give you the last minute. We're running a little low on time, but I'll give you the last minute if you want to mention anything that we didn't get a chance to talk about, or even just restate a reminder to everybody. And then also after that, how people can get in contact with you or find more information on safety.
Yeah, absolutely. No, this is a great opportunity. I really encourage listeners out there who are operating farm machinery, take time for yourself, slow down, get some sleep, and also work towards putting in a few extra steps of prevention in, because it could prevent you from watching your entire harvest literally go up in smoke. So take some time, blow off your equipment, if possible, every day, just to get that layer of extra residue off of your machine to help prevent a fire. And you can always find me. Use your favorite search engine, type in NDSU extension farm safety. You'll quickly find my contact information, and you're more than welcome and encouraged to reach out to me.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Angie. We're going to get caught up with a few sponsors when we come back, a check on the forecast, and me and Dean will find something else to talk about. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Hello, Fargo. This is John Adams, your host of Talk of the Town. My show is designed to highlight everything great about the city, the valley, and the country in which we live. I've had the great fortune of meeting, working, and living with wonderful people in the Fargo-Moorhead area, and I want to bring their stories to you. Human interest stories, sports, timely topics that affect all of us in the Red River Valley. Talk of the Town with John Adams. Tune in for positivity and fun.
You're building stuff, but you don't have the tools or machinery. Contact Zeus Sales and Equipment. They have what you need. Their vast inventory includes items such as rough terrain and electric scissor lifts, skid steers and compact loaders, walk-behinds, and attachments for sale and rent. Their team is dedicated to helping you find the right equipment. Competitive pricing and flexible options make them the go-to for contractors. 2 locations, the Hollywood Lumber Company and in Fargo. Call 701-951-7368. 951-RENT. ZeusRentals.net. The power of Zeus.
Hi, this is John Trelichka, owner of North Star Plumbing and Drain Cleaning. Be it an emergency or plumbing that needs to be done, call the experts at North Star Plumbing and Drain Cleaning. We get calls for kitchens, bathrooms, and drain backups all the time. We're fast and our prices are very competitive. Call us 24/7 at 701-367-9592. North Star Plumbing and Drain Cleaning. Check us out at northstarplumbingnd.com. North Star Plumbing and Drain Cleaning. That's North Star Plumbing and Drain Cleaning.
It's Jay and Ronnie from the Coffee Club, and we enjoy drinking coffee because it keeps us energized and focused.
Well, let's be frank. I enjoy drinking coffee because coffee keeps me wide-eyed in the morning, but I'll tell you this type of coffee is organic, specialty-grade coffee, beans selected from the top 2% available, 100% Arabica bean coffee, certified organic, non-GMO, low acidity, rich, smooth, and ready to drink.
The finish is clean and it has a pleasant aftertaste. It's delicious. It's so far the best coffee that we've had. It's also roasted and packed in the US of A. We love it and we guarantee you will too. All you need to do is go to mystore.com, click on My Coffee, and enter the promo code WDAY.
That's promo code WDAY to get your own My Coffee.
It's also roasted and packed in the US of A. We love it and we guarantee you will too. Go to mystore.com, promo code WDAY.
In this market, you'll find Fisher Investments is different than other money managers.
Different how? Aren't we all just looking for the hottest stocks?
Nope. We use diversified strategies to position our clients' portfolios for their long-term goals.
You don't just provide cookie-cutter portfolios?
No. We tailor our clients' portfolios to their goals and needs.
But you still sell investments that generate high commissions for you, right?
No, we don't sell commission-based products. We're a fiduciary, the highest standard of care for a financial advisor. It means we're obligated to act in our client's best interest.
So when do you make more money? Only when your clients make more money?
Yep, we have one transparent management fee structured so we do better when our clients do better.
Sounds like you really look out for your clients.
We do, because our priority is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement. That might be why most of our clients come from other money managers. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments. Clearly different money management.
Investments in securities involve the risk of loss.
Yeah, I'm so stressed. Our business is growing. We've got people all over now.
Ooma.
What is that? Meditation?
I'm recommending the Ooma cloud phone system with auto attendant and more than 50 features.
Ooma?
Yep. Switching to Ooma is a cinch. Just $24.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Now you're feeling it. Find small business calm at ooma.com/radio. That's OOMA.com/radio.
This is Weather and Ag in Focus with Bridgette Readel, Justin Storm, and Dean Wysocki.
Oh, my God. And welcome back to Weather and Ag in Focus. I want to thank everybody for joining us this afternoon. Angie's such a great guest when she's on here. And, you know, she brings up a lot of great topics in terms of farm safety and just a lot of it is common sense. But you know what? When you're tired, you know, we all kind of lose the common sense mode sometimes when we're just too tired. So, yeah, she's a great person to have on the show. So
yeah, she is a really great guest. Love having Angie on. We had an email that came in. I wish I would have seen it while Angie was still on with us, but Brian mentioned, couldn't a lot of these fires just be prevented by a better design on the equipment so dust isn't getting in on the manifold? And I think that's an amazing question. I wish I would have asked her. If anyone out there has an answer to this, feel free to give us a call quick, 701-293-9000. But I think the dust is just so fine. It just gets in there regardless. I mean, you're sitting in a dust bubble.
Yeah. And you know, your idea how things work in a kitchen, you know, that you know, if it gets too hot, then bam, you just foam it over, and then you're. But the question is, does that damage the equipment then? But it's better than than to have
better than it being burned.
Yeah, better. So I think you have a great idea there to.
I'm going on Shark
Tank. There you go. Mm-hmm. Well, let's take one more look at the forecast as we've got some sunshine over the FM area right now. There's clouds to the east and clouds to the west.
North and south?
That almost sounds like a Jimmy Buffett song. Oh, that's fins to the left, fins to the right. So we've got a nice little pocket of sunshine over the FM area right now, and that's jumping our temperatures up. Currently, we're sitting at 64 degrees. On our way up to about 68 this afternoon. We'll see those clouds thicken back up, and then we'll see rain push into the area as we head after dark. And those scattered showers will continue overnight as we drop down to a low in the upper 40s and a few isolated showers on Wednesday, mainly early, but a lot of clouds hanging around all day and breezy with northwest winds at about 10 to 25. And then as we head into Thursday and Friday, the sun returns and we warm back up, 60 on Thursday and mid to upper 60s on Friday. A really nice way to end the week. So that's good news there. And again, we've started our new LRC cycle. And if you want to know, mark December 5th on your calendar. That's when we will have Gary Lezak on, and we will be going over what the cycle is going to, how it's going to look for the rest of the winter and into springtime as well. That's December 5th on the Jay Thomas Show at 2 o'clock. So, but it's been a dry start to the LRC cycle. We've had one storm last week pass to our south. We did get clipped by it, but typically those storms...
Windmaker.
What's that? It was a wind. Yeah.
Said it was a wind maker.
It was. And now we've got a little clipper system. This one coming in at us tonight and tomorrow. That's a little clipper system. And so we can expect that during the first part of the LRC cycle as well. But so far it's been dry and mild. Let's see if that holds up. So for Justin and myself, we want to thank everybody for joining us here on Weather and Ag in Focus. Stay tuned tomorrow. We've got another great guest coming our way tomorrow. And Bridgette, I believe, will be back unless she's caught in a snowstorm. So I want to thank everybody for joining us. The Jay Thomas Show is coming up next.